Hello everyone, and welcome to another dialogue concept analysis. This is a series of videos where I discuss about each dinosaur concept released by the devs team. If you are interested in checking another analysis, I will put a notification on the top right corner that will take you directly to the playlist. Today we will explore the Magyarosaurus concept art. So sit back and enjoy the video. Magyarosaurus decus, meaning Magyar lizard, was a small sauropod that inhabited the lands of what is now western Romania during the late Cretaceous period, 71 million years ago. Being one of the smallest sauropods in history, measuring up to 20 feet in length, Magyes were part of the Saltosauridae family, a group of armored sauropods characterized by their distinctive defenses in form of sucutes, an external bone-like structure similar to turtle shells, crocodilian skin, and bird's feet. Like most members of its family, Maggie also possessed that extradermal armor, although their osteoderms were sharper in shape, quite unique compared to other saltosaurids. However, this sauropod's most particular feature is its extremely small size, for a sauropod that is. Magyes suffered from a severe case of insular dwarfism in consequence of the limited food supply and lack of predators from the islands that they inhabited at the time. Insular dwarfism is a process of continuous decline of body size during the species evolution, when said species become limited to an environment like caves, desert oases, isolated valleys, and islands. The end result is a much smaller version of the animal in question, being Maggie one of the most extreme examples. Before we move on the concept art, I would like to talk about its design. My stance on the Alice character design isn't focused about accuracy or consistency. Both aspects are important, of course, but not the major aspect I look for. The Isle was never about realism or accuracy. It was about being cool, and Maggie is a clear example of how far the devs are willing to go to achieve it. The Isle Maggie is inaccurate and unproportionate, and that's okay. It's not supposed to be either. This design is clean, elegant, unique. That's what the devs intended, and they succeeded. My problem with this midget sauropod is not their visual design. In fact, its design is the only thing I don't have a problem with. But before I proceed with another rant, let's analyze its concept art. Sadly, there's almost no significant information about our dwarf brachy present in the image, so we will have to work with what we got. Firstly, we see that Magyes are equivalent in size to a cerato, meaning it is indeed a relatively small dinosaur, especially for a sauropod. This image right here shows that their osteoderms are sharp enough to cut skin, so it is possible that they will be able to deal bleed to their opponents. The way the damage is dealt is unclear, however. It can either be dealt via ramming or shoulder bashing the opponent, or it only manifests once someone collides with Maggie's body. Speaking of shoulder bashing, this set of pictures show that these mini long necks are heavy enough to throw Saurus to the ground. If Maggie's attacks are identical to the ones shown in the concept art, this dinosaur will have a combative playstyle never experienced in the game before. How good it will be, it's still up to debate. Lastly, we can conclude that Magyarosauruses will be able to feed from both trees and bushes as seen here. This gives them as much diet variety as Kentro's. However, I expect them to have a much more demanding stomach, being limited to areas with high food supply. Maggie is a complicated situation. Being a sauropod, it should have some characteristics unique to that type of dinosaur. Slow and tanky. However, here's the problem. They are mid-tier herbivores. It is impossible to expect brachy levels of tankiness on something so small, so their HP needs to be reduced to similar levels of other mid-tier dinosaurs. But the majority of predators in the game are larger, and therefore stronger than Ceratos, so Meggies would be in a disadvantage against large carnivores. To compensate for their lack of defensive capabilities, they would need to be faster, or at least faster than the predators our mini sauropod can handle. Okay, so far so good. Now we need to categorize which carnivores would be a danger to Meggies. Apexes are an obvious answer. They are way too strong to be dealt with, so they need to be at least faster than those. Sounds reasonable. Chemas in Legacy almost achieved that, so boosting their speed a bit more shouldn't sound ridiculous. After all, they are extremely small sauropods. Sure, they are light enough to get a little speedy. What about high mid-tier carnivores like Suco and Alberto? Sucos are stronger, but also slower, in theory, so that's alright. Albertos, if they remain intact in Evrima, will be essentially a superior Cerato, a very fast predator that focuses on brute force to tear down their opponents. From the concept art, Meggies seem to be able to deal with Cerato levels of danger pretty easily, so they will hopefully be resilient enough to handle stronger opponents. What confuses me, however, and sends me to a midlife crisis, is one of the developers mentioning previously that Meggies will be faster than Allos. Allos? One of the fastest mid-tiers in the game. Why? Making them that fast can lead to two separate outcomes. They are either so weak that they need to be faster than most predators in order to survive, or that they will be absolutely broken on release, chasing every living thing to death unscathed because of how tanky they are. I personally vote for the former, but if that's the case, then why make them so squishy? Why a sauropod of all things? You can't just take a Microdiplodocus and make them run at Mach 1, it's ridiculous. Meggies have a problem, but it's such an easy issue to solve. The devs have the right idea, they just overshoot it to oblivion. It's so simple. They just need to be tanky enough to handle mid-tiers and fast enough to run away from apexes. It's the same concept as the Devil in Legacy, and they did it perfectly. So what's the problem? In conclusion, Meggies seem to be ready to introduce a new way to play the game, and a playstyle never seen before in any other dinosaur survival game, for better or for worse. And that's all for today. Next up, we will investigate the Min-Me concept art. So if you enjoyed this video and want to watch further analysis, subscribe to my channel. There's also other content that you might enjoy, so feel free to check it out. As always, I hope everyone enjoyed the video. See you on the next one. Stay safe.